understanding that this is when I disconnect and when I, enjoy Hajj. Because I know for a fact that I, we all read about these stories and like people tell stories about all that stuff. I think it's we have to be careful in what we choose. It's a balance, I think.
Yeah, I think that it kind of changes your intention. Like if you're going to Hajj and you're always on your phone taking selfies and like trying to take pictures to like post on social media, it kind of changes like your intention, and then your heart isn't all the way fully there. But I do like how Hajj is like incorporating technology into a lot of different things. I actually heard that somebody was doing so you know those like virtual reality like
Yeah.
goggles
Yeah.
or whatever. Somebody was like filming everywhere, like in everything that you could see in Hajj, just so that people could start like seeing it virtual reality. And I think that's such a good idea because some people like will not be able to go to Hajj.
It's true.
Um,
That's a good
so
point.
it's like it's kind of nice to see like now there's like a way that someone can go see what Hajj is like, or like even before you go to Hajj. Like I know for me, I'm not 100% like from the top of my head like I can recite like all the steps of Hajj and like where I should go and where I should be for, like every single day. But if I like saw like a little video tour right before I went, I would know what to do, and it would just go a lot more fluid. I might not get like lost, you
So
know.
I guess what we're trying to say is that Hajj is like a connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's okay to kind of take help from this technology to
Yeah.
make it easier for you, but also know where your position is. Like that you can't overdo it and you can't really like it's more a personal connection. So Fatima, I heard that you had some topic about fluoride in water or something. And I
Oh
was kind of
yeah.
interested about
Okay,
that.
so this week I found out that 70% of the water in the United States is actually it contains fluoride. And you might not think that that's like that big of a deal because like you go to the dentist and you get your like fluoride procedures done. But fluoride is actually really bad for you, especially when you're consuming it all the time. Fluoride this year has been linked to um, it wrecks fetal brain development. It's a neurotoxin that kills off like growing brain cells. When you're consuming it all the time, you can get fluorosis, and that's when the enamel of your teeth start to break down and your teeth become weaker and they'll get stained. Um, it's just so bad, and we're not aware. Like nobody knows that there's like all this fluoride in all of our water.
Right, and you said that you only drink water, right?
Yeah, I only drink
So-
water, so,
So that's a
I
big
just
problem
feel trapped.
for you,
I
right?
feel so trapped. What am I supposed to do?
Right, where we thought like that was the most healthiest outlet you can do, that's now in jeopardy for our own health and our own teeth.
So what's the reason that like dentists recommend fluoride in toothpaste, but then drinking water with fluoride is not good? Like what's
Yeah.
Right.
what's the
So
catch
if you
there?
notice, like when you have a baby, so I'm a babysitter, right? And whenever the parents ask me like brush their kids' teeth, it's always with a non-fluoride toothpaste. It's because their teeth are already too weak to be using fluoride. Fluoride basically breaks down the enamel of your teeth. So when you go to the dentist and they make you put that fluoride in your mouth, it just breaks down the enamel so that they can scrape off all of your cavities and like really like reshape your teeth. And that's why there's like so many aftercare procedures. That's why you can't eat after the first hour because your teeth are so weak. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to become an orthodontist?
oh no!
Dentist.
Oh no!
Or into
I'm just trying to protect my belly from bad water.
Right. Yeah. When you brought it up at first, I was like, it's water, right? And like you get, so I was really confused about it. But when you really talked about like all these studies that came out, and it makes sense because we do wait 30 minutes, and it's horrible. It's a horrible wait, but you have to
Oh,
wait 30
yeah.
minutes and stuff like that. But
Yeah, and what about like like okay, so there's fluoride, right? But then we also have like the huge water crisis in Flint. you
Yeah,
know, so
they
just
still
like
don't have their water
they
yet.
still don't have their water, and you're saying that it's in some bottled waters as well, right?
Yeah, a
So,
lot
like,
of popular.
All they're using is bottled water, so even not just bottled water, they have to make sure they got like what the good Fiji,
Yeah, like good.
or the more expensive bottles.
Yeah,
to
Deer
even
Park.
survive.
Deer Park's not safe. Poland Springs, Crystal Springs. Those waters have tons of fluoride in them. Like the really safe brands, Evian, Smart Water, Fiji. You really have to be careful, and you have to spend like extra money just to get.
good water.
Like even Brita water filters, they don't filter out the fluoride in your tap water.
Wow.
So where does the fluoride come from in those waters? Like why is it present?
So a little bit ago, like maybe 15 years ago, the United States government actually recommended that we were putting fluoride in our waters. We're actually running short on time. This is like, oh, 2 minutes. Oh, gee, sorry. Fluoride. So basically, the U.S. started putting fluoride in our waters because they thought that it was healthy for us because it passes through our teeth. But now that more studies are coming out, we really shouldn't be having this fluoride in our water, but it's just still a problem.
So is it also present in tap water?
Yeah,
so the water
definitely.
that we get from. So how can we? Do you know if we can filter it out?
Yeah.
Because I'm like really kind of worried now.
Right. Me too. Yeah, me too.
You just have to go to your Home Depot, your local Home Depot.
Right.
Not sponsored, and you have to go find a filter that filters out fluoride. You really have to pay attention because not all filters filter out fluoride, and you also have to be careful when you're drinking bottled water and buying water. I hate buying water in bottles because it really affects our ecosystem, but
Yeah, plastic
you gotta watch
It's
out.
too bad, man.
You gotta save those Evian bottles. You gotta save those Smart Water bottles.
Make sure you recycle after too.
Definitely.
That's cool. And I think that also, like, with the whole water thing, I mean, that's great. Like, I can't believe you're just drinking water, but just good, healthy tip. Drink water, but we want to make sure our water is very clean so that we can consume the real health, be really healthy. So this is something that we really need to take care of, global crisis.
Right, and it's also a matter of intelligence as well, because it's harming. You talked about how in developing babies, it's gonna harm their mental health.
I mean, even now, because our brains are still developing now until we're about 25, it's really taking away from our brain cells. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's really
rough.
Really scary. Yeah.
And some people don't even have access to water. So here we are having access to water, and it's like.
I actually heard that a really good way to filter out the fluoride is by saying Bismillah before you drink your water.
Bismillah.
Ooh,
okay,
Bismillah,
so this is a take home. Say Bismillah before you drink. And
If you're not drinking water with fluoride, do your research before. Do your research before you drink your water. Say Bismillah before you drink your water. After the break, we'll be hearing from Fajr. So we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.
All right, see you guys. So.
You're a potential homeowner, and you need to understand how home financing works and what types of risks are involved in the process. Guidance Residential's Declining Balance Co-Ownership Program is rooted in the traditional Islamic belief that money has no intrinsic value and thus can't be sold at a profit. The program is a non-lending method to facilitating home ownership. Through Guidance's co-ownership agreement, you purchased a home of your choice by entering into a diminishing partnership wherein your obligation is simple. You agree to buy out Guidance's shares while also paying a fee for using the portion of the property you do not yet own. As your ownership increases over time, the portion of your monthly payment dedicated to this rental condition decreases. With Guidance Residential, you don't have to worry about the worst-case scenario. We're here to share the risks and benefits of owning a home with you. It's something we like to call modern finance with timeless values. Visit guidanceresidential.com to learn more about this consumer-friendly way to finance a home without compromising your ideals.
Assalamu alaikum. We're back with Deen Talk Season 3. And the topic right now is basically like, we're going to call it the blackout. It went crazy. So let's first start a little bit with the history of what has been going on. So like the NFL, it's really $1 billion industry, basically ran with a ball with black and brown, a lot of black and brown peoples. And the big thing that has stirred was during this whole time, Colin Kaepernick, addressed his concerns about the police brutality against black people. But we have seen in history other people standing up, like the heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, as well as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Sacramento Kings Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Yeah.
Right? So, mashallah, they're like basically all Muslims, the ones that came before. But basically, like, our justice is like really important. So I think what we can see from that, like, the intention of what Colin Kaepernick was really doing was for the people, but like the narrative got really switched with being disrespectful of the flag and the military, which was none of his initiatives for sitting down or like during the anthem. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people didn't do it before. But with Trump saying, calling the NFL people sons of bees, like that literally stirred up everyone and was like, no. Okay, so I was on social media, okay, and I saw everyone, okay. First I saw P. Diddy. P. Diddy, you know, he's like really out there in the celebrity world, and he was like, guys, if you guys stand up, I'm gonna be like behind you guys gotta show them. LeBron James even like says stuff like on his intercoms and everything. So like everybody just kind of like collectively came together and was like, this is not right. And it really showed like no matter how much money you have or the fame you have, like if you're black or brown, like being heard is a problem in expressing your opinions.
Yeah.
So what are some of you guys like ideas and like with everything going on?
So you said that they switched the story into saying that, oh, he doesn't like America and the military and stuff, right?
Basically,
So
yes.
what I think is that everything is based on your intention. That's also in Islam, right?
Yes.
So if he was kneeling because he thought police brutality was bad, right? So I think that's what it's more about than, oh, like he doesn't like America. It's what's behind it. So you
Right.
have to think about what he's doing and for what reason.
That's true.
Yeah, I think another thing that we're taught through religion is to look at the source of the problem rather than the problem itself. I mean, we have to look at why this is happening, and it's happening because they want to say something, they want to have a voice. So I think that a lot of people are ignoring the fact that this is about being heard, and it's about getting something done. So we should focus on getting that done if we don't feel comfortable with, you know, kneeling or the flag or whatever, because we want everyone to be proud of what America is, or what America can be, or what America stands for. So if we want that to happen, we have to really appease people who are citizens of this country, who believe in this country, and that's why they're kneeling. They're not kneeling because they don't believe in this country. They're kneeling because they want this country to be a better place. And if we can recognize that, I think that's something that we can all move forward with. And I think that's the major step that people on the other side need to take, is like, yes, it's offensive sometimes to some people, and sure, but the point is that, you know, all these people are doing it for the sake of their country, and they're doing it with a good intention. So we need to respect that. And yes, sometimes it's seen as a bandwagon, but I think it takes that sometimes. It takes people like Colin Kaepernick and Muhammad Abdul and Muhammad Ali who are standing there and being pioneers, but it also takes followers and people that really believe in the cause. And I think that's what happened. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, it's a peaceful protest. This is not like the Charleston riots or anything. This is a peaceful protest. And then it's also kind of hypocritical when people say that, well, I noticed that a lot of Donald Trump supporters are not a fan of kneeling for the anthem. But if you really think about it, a lot of the arguments when Trump supporters are like gassing him up, they say that he's not politically correct, and he says whatever is on his mind, and he just is himself, and he stands up for what he believes. And why aren't you letting Colin Kaepernick and other people stand up for what they or kneel for what they
Not
believe?
That's a good
standing
point.
up, yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yes, but in the way of kneeling is a way of standing up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Is like how he called the Charlotte's people, oh, they're very fine people protesting, where he deliberately said the NFL people were sons of bees, basically a lot of black and brown people. So implying that you're racist. Like if you can say that he's not racist, like he really is. So that was a real thing that you can't like, oh, he just whatever. Like he already been doing a lot of things like that. But I think the main thing of this is just having the courage to stand up. I'm so happy a lot of our generation is Muslim people, because justice is really important in Islam. So I think that instead of looking at it being disrespectful to the flag and the nation and the military, it's about why is he really kneeling. So let's get off that narrative if it's good to kneel or not. What other way to protest? This is the way he chooses to protest. So now we will be going to Omar.
Yeah. So just going off of, I think, this discussion as well. So this week, Chicago Tribune published an article about Rami Nashashibi, who's a community activist down in Southside Chicago, and he won a MacArthur Award, which is like a big deal for them in Chicago, because it's like it shows, you know, community activism. And in Chicago, there's a lot of history there about African American activism and also just activism at large. So Rami Nashashibi leads an effort called Iman, which is Inner City Muslim Action Network, and talking about Muslims and their fight and what it means to bring a community together. And so what's really beautiful about the Southside Chicago story is that Iman's at the center of it, and they're actually located at the headquarters. They were located at the past headquarters of the neo-Nazis in Chicago, and that's also the place where Martin Luther King marched, and he marched peacefully, but he was, you know, there was a riot there that was led by these people. So it's really symbolic, and I think that's what's really beautiful about it. And he's doing it. He's building, halfway homes for people that are coming out of veterans and also people that are coming out of the prison system. And so in these homes, there's a lot of green energy being used and stuff like that. So he's creating a sustainable environment. There's also grocery stores there now that are having produce for the African American community, because a lot of those stores don't have good food and water with fluoride in it.
Right.
So I think I think
really nice.
yeah. So we need to know that these people exist, because it's a really big inspiration for us. I think.
So do you know if he's planning on spreading it throughout the U.S. or if he's just sticking
we should ask him.
outside Chicago?
We should ask him.
Yeah, because that, inshallah, because that would be
Inshallah.
amazing if we had that. Like, I think it's up to us as the youth to also kind of bring this up and work as he did
Right.
to make it happen.
And it's like a one-man show that like could translate to everybody. You know what I mean? He's doing
Yeah.
it, but everybody could do it. You know what I mean? And I think even talking about the whole rights and everything, instead of leaving up to Trump, even with the whole Puerto Rico and all these hurricanes, a lot of the people are taking initiative. Like celebrities are now going to their shows and like donate pantries, like different things like that you have, and like let's do it. Like Fajr really took a whole plane over there and to help out Puerto Rico. So instead of leaving up to Trump and this administration that is not doing everything right, we have to take initiative. And I think this is like the time more than ever that we're consistently, having the time to actually make change.
Yeah, I think that like it's these type of things that really keeps
Right. And I think that's the real work of Islam, and I think even I was my senior year, I went to the Parliament of World Religions, and he was actually awarded there as well. This was years ago, my senior year, so like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And he was talking about Chicago. I was like, oh, what's this brother doing? So when you brought him up, I was like, I seen him, but I wasn't really sure about all his work. So that's really good, and I think we should just all translate it to our communities in any way we can.
Yeah, I think that, like, I know there's a lot of low-income communities in DC as well that we can really support in that way, and throughout the world. So this is a model that I think we should really look after.
Do you know what his background is? Like what you did before this?
Yeah, I think that there was another interview by PBS NewsHour, like I think during that time, in 2015 or 14, where he was talking about going to school, and then I think he lived in that community, or don't quote me on this, but he studied law, and then he came back to that community to support them. He was a youth when he started doing this, by the way. So he's in his 30s right now. So he's been doing this for a while, but it's all youth initiative. It's all about the young mind and really our generation. And so it's pretty phenomenal in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think we all have whatever you're passionate about. So you're like fluoride water, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm all into health and everything. So like I already started my organization called Fun Fit Fabulous, and it's like I help the young girls become their best selves by being healthy and like really accomplishing their goals. So you can do it, whatever you're passionate about, whether it be soccer, kung fu, anything that you like, we can really make a lot of change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about like putting the initiative and trying your best, and even if you just put in a little bit of effort, you'll go a long way. Like there's an ayah or a hadith, I forgot which one, but if you step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you just have to try.
Right. And with that, I think we're gonna come to an end. But at the end of the day, like everything that we talked about today was about how we help and support our community, and how there's issues and challenges that we have, be it water or kneeling. But at the end of the day, all of those challenges can be met by our own ability to be inspired and to look at well. And so I think that like Rami Nashashibi is a really cool example of that, and he's someone that I look up to because he's a pretty cool guy, and he's also pretty hip. So I think
we should bring him on the show.
We should totally try to bring him on the show.
Inshallah.
But inshallah, so we're gonna continue doing this, and thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate everything that we do. Right now, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back, inshallah.
I've let my guard down for you. You believe in, would you make a difference in the world? I'd love for you to take me to a deeper conversation. Only you can make me deeper conversation.
All around the world, Islamic Relief is finding solutions to poverty. To donate, call now or visit us online. Islamic Relief, solutions you can believe in.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Deen Talk. So now we'll be taking questions from you guys in the audience on Twitter. So
Yes. So I'm checking Twitter right now. So everybody blow up this feed so we can ask some questions.
Hashtag DTV, right?
Hashtag
Yeah.
DeenTV. So I see one question, and one of the questions is asking us, how do you think, how could we use our platform? How are we using our platform, in the whole
Right.
justice?
So I think what we have to use our platform for is, as youth, alhamdulillah, we have this opportunity, and we need to bring up issues that we think are important to us. But not only that, but like, I think being a youth is about enjoying and learning. So we need to like support each other and kind of teach each other what we think is the best.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that this is a really good, relevant question because we're just getting started and just getting rolling with Deen Talk, and I think that this kind of background, but we've been trying to come up with different ideas and try to understand.
But I think it's also bringing some form of justice itself. You know what I mean? Just to
Right.
relay the issues and talk about it and what's right and what's wrong. So, do you have any other questions? Let me check for some more.
All right, so one of the questions was, do you personally support the NFL kneeling?
I do. I mean, I actually was in JRTC, which is military for high school, basically, a battalion commander. And because of the fact of why it's kneeling, it's not the kneeling itself, and it's not disrespecting the flag or the military. It's nothing against that. I respect my veterans 100%. It's about why he's kneeling, And
Yeah.
people were talking. I was looking at not Trevor, but Trey Noah. Who's
Trevor Noah?
Trevor Noah, and he was doing his interview and basically his basic talks, and he's like, the girl came on, well, he shouldn't kneel. There should be another way to protest. But then he was like, well, how should he protest? She couldn't give an answer.
Yeah.
So it's like, you do if you don't, if you protest, it's this way. So everybody has their own opinion. This is the platform he chose. Why not choose a platform to be seen? Everybody doesn't agree with it, but it's like, really, what other way could you protest? Nobody has, I don't know an answer. If you guys have an answer, let everybody know. But it's like, this is the platform he's using, and he's being heard. But I think we should definitely take off, like, against the nation. It's not against the nation or the military or the flag. It's
Absolutely.
what is happening. People are
Right.
getting killed. The black and brown people are not being treated right. So that's why it's happening. So that's why I do support it, because he's trying to stand up for justice.
Exactly.
So as a football player, he has like really high status, I guess, because everyone
Yeah.
watches him. So but he's still a regular person, so he has his rights of protesting. So if he has that authority, I think he is able to protest in that way if he really wants to. And if he feels that's right, then that's okay.
Right. I think that, whenever we have an opportunity to stand up in whatever way possible, we should do it. And, I personally, I think that there's a difference between the idea of America and the politics of America. But those are my views about it. And I feel like, I don't know if I would react differently to the situation, but I don't necessarily agree, right? But I still appreciate the effort. And I think that at the end of the day, it's not about me agreeing or not. It's a matter of what are these people actually trying to say. And when it comes to standing with our brothers and sisters in America, we have to support them, even if we might feel as though this is this or that. Because at the end of the day, he's in that position. And I don't know what he's feeling, but I know that he's frustrated. And I know that this is the only way he can stand up, or this is the peaceful way that he can stand up. And really, it's showing a peaceful manner. In a world where we have a lot of rioting and injustice and a lot of, stuff like Charlottesville and even Las Vegas occurring, it's really disappointing. And it's scary out there. So by kneeling, he's expressing a peaceful manner in which he wants to better the world. And I think that's admirable, and I think that's what we should take from it.
Right, but the fact is that everybody getting so angry about it,
Right,
it's
that's
really
true.
funny.
I
because
100%
It's really
support it,
funny
too.
because Charlottesville, everybody's yelling and we're better. These people need to go here.
Exactly.
He's not even saying one word, and
Yeah.
he's
Kneeling on the ground.
kneeling
Yeah.
on
I
the
think
ground.
the NFL actually banned it. Now everybody has to stand up, and that's forced patriotism. And forced patriotism is something that
Yes,
North Korea does.
nationalism,
That's
yeah.
Right, but
fascism.
you know what? If, for instance, I did see a tweet for Trump, and he was saying something about, oh yeah, if they kneel, sit them on the bench. But if everybody kneels, that means you won't
Ooh.
have no team.
Exactly.
That's
And
Yeah.
then you won't have no money rolling in, which they only
That's
change
true.
because, for instance, you boycott. They like back in Alabama and all the type of civil
Yeah.
rights.
Mhm.
They stopped the economy. Nothing's really done by justice in America. It's really like when you affect their economy and their moolah, that's when they really start to change.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
If everyone comes together, then anything is
I
possible.
think NFL
Yeah.
is like what, 70% African American? 70, 65? All right, we've got another question here. So, oh, okay, I guess this is directed to me. Where is fluoride found the most? Okay, so again, it's your major big brand water bottles like Deer Park, Crystal Spring, Silver Spring, Poland Spring, all springs.
Never heard of those ones.
And then even in your tap water, especially in your tap water, unless you live in, I don't know, like Beverly Hills, I don't know, geographically, sorry. You really have to watch out because filtered water is everywhere, especially in school systems, and it doesn't filter out the fluoride, so
Yeah, that's.
sucks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and I
that's
have a
kinda
really
scary.
bad habit of eating ice. And it's
No,
like,
girl,
ice is
don't
really
eat
bad,
ice.
but I'm saying I would expect the ice to come from the tap water, so that's just extra worse. So
Right,
just
yeah,
don't do it,
So
y'all.
is fluoride in the ice too? Well, I guess it is
Yeah,
because
It's
it's frozen.
still water,
Yeah,
it's just
that's
frozen.
true.
The fluoride doesn't come out
fluoride.
when it gets frozen.
And then when you chew it, you're chewing on that fluoride, so think about that.
Ooh, that's breaking your teeth down even more.
I think that like the whole like also like plastics, for example, like how they when they don't biodegrade, but when they really like get kind of when the chemicals from the transfer to
Into
the
the water.
oceans,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's really dangerous for us too. Because think about it, that's not only going to us, that's also going to the animals
Yeah.
and all of that. So it's pretty, it's not good. And I think it roots from this like industrialist standpoint that unfortunately like people just, mass production has kind of been dangerous.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, how when you drink water out of a mug compared to like a plastic bottle, it tastes different because
Right.
you get those different like
Yeah.
flavors, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's like that metallic
Although
flavor.
you're the
when
one
you drink.
that really like thought that drinking out of a mug would taste weird, right?
It does taste different than drinking out of a glass for me, honestly.
No, I have the same problem, honestly. Like drinking out of
Like
some,
a metal water
plastic,
bottle
Yeah.
tastes
Yeah.
different
Oh, yeah,
than
totally.
drinking
Yeah.
out of like a glass.
especially after like a day when you. That's really bad. Like don't do that, guys. Don't
Yeah.
drink water a day.
When I was younger, my dad used to say, "Oh, can you give me a glass of water?" So I'm like, "Oh, would you like a plastic?" He's like, "No, please a glass." And I'm just like, "What? Why is it a glass every time?" So I guess it really does have a different taste.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today on Deen Talk, and see you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Your girl's got an appointment.